Hello, welcome to Sideways. Just thought I'd give you a few moments to listen to the bird song there. Last week we were talking about motivation and the why you want to do something, the payoff if you like. This week we're discussing how you plan to get there and why it's sometimes harder than we'd anticipated. There are also stories of ghosts in the toilet. We debate the merits of a marshmallow. I bemoan the lost opportunity of a fondue restaurant. And we share a fondness for long-handled teaspoons. We also ask, are you more Bryan Adams or Ryan Adams? Willpower.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It might be worth us doing an episode where we can't hear you.
That'd be quite good when it just blanked me out completely. So your rhetoric, and I do like your screen behind you today. Is that from one of your walks? It is. A snowy, sort of frosty.
Correct, because it was so frosty outside this morning. It was actually quite surprising because I was prepared for freezing fog, because the forecast was that it was going to be freezing fog today. And last night when I went to bed, it was foggy, and I thought, oh God, it's going to be terrible in the morning. And I went out, and it was glorious. It was really lovely. So. Yeah, it was nice.
You enjoy it? I'm assuming the dogs enjoyed it as well.
Well, they seem to. They don't say much, but
they had a little run around and chased the ball.
Exactly. It's exactly what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need, isn't it?
Exactly. Now they're asleep, so they must be reasonably satisfied.
Good work. Should we go on to our what we're going to talk about then?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Well, it's a subject. It follows on quite nicely from last week's episode on motivation. Mm-hmm. Especially as you mentioned it during the recording, if you remember rightly, because we're talking about willpower.
Yeah. And
you sort of mentioned the difference between the two.
Yes.
Did you want to just sort of quickly reiterate that whilst we're at the intro stage? Or
I think of willpower as if motivation is the why, this is why I want to do it. So a kind of clarity around the thing that we want to achieve. And willpower is the traction that we have to find within ourselves to get there, and the ability to kind of overcome hurdles and so on.
Gotcha. That sounds about right. And we mustn't mix up willpower with will to power. Do you remember them?
I do remember. I wouldn't have remembered them if you hadn't just mentioned them, but I do.
They did. Remember they did that sort of a mashup song, which is that they took that Peter Frampton song, "Baby I Love Your Way," and mixed it with Freebird from Lynyrd Skynyrd. Do you remember that? It was
no, again, I probably wouldn't have remembered it, but now that you mention it, I do remember it. Yeah.
It came to mind when I was doing the research, and I thought, so I had to quickly look up because I couldn't remember what they did. Then I remembered that song, and I thought, oh yeah, but you shouldn't be messing around with Freebird, really, should you? You should let that stand on its own.
Not really, or Peter Frampton for that matter.
But quite, yeah.
But I presumably you don't still maintain the Sideways playlist.
I haven't updated it for some time, but I could.
Well, you ought to
put
that on there, aren't you? You ought to put the will to power thing on.
I'll do that. I'll do that today. Yeah, I will.
I this morning have put something on the Sideways Instagram page. I've put the latest yarn bomb on top of the post box on there.
Have you? Oh, okay.
Can you guess what the theme is?
I suspect it could either be Valentine's Day, that's on its way.
It is Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Although I've got a feeling, is today Epiphany? Is it Epiphany today?
I don't know, but days of the year, I'll come on to something along that. But we'll cross that bridge later on.
Okay. Is it Bridge Day of Bridges? Day where you have to go and cross bridges.
Cross bridges or play bridge, whatever you fancy.
Oh, apparently that's really complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, I did start to learn it. I went to bridge class at school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Bridge class? Crikey, where did you go to school? Hogwarts?
They had chess club and they had bridge club and stuff.
Just before Quidditch, was it?
I've never watched any of those films or read any of the books, so you're talking slightly out of my realms of understanding.
I haven't read the books, so I've watched a couple of the films.
Yeah.
No, Bridge Club, no, we never had anything as highfalutin as that.
Anyway, before we start talking about willpower, there's just a quick story that I came across when I was doing my research. Obviously, you remember the Cray twins? Ronnie and Reggie.
I didn't know them personally. But,
No, well, they said,
I certainly know of them.
know of them. They're legendary, aren't they? Really, in their own way. They sort of used to terrorise the East End of London, didn't they, during the 60s?
Mm.
And there's a pub. Do you remember the name of the famous pub?
No. Is it the one where Jack the Hat McVitie killed someone?
No, it's where Ronnie killed George Cornell.
Oh,
yes.
George Cornell. Didn't he used to be in Soundgarden? No, it was Chris Cornell, wasn't
Chris Cornell, yeah. Of no relation.
Not Chris Quinnell.
Not Chris Quinnell, no.
Was he in Soundgarden?
I don't think he was, or in the Blind Beggar, which is the pub I was talking about, the Blind Beggar.
Right, okay.
And apparently George Cornell, his ghost still haunts that.
Really?
And there's a bloke doing a Google review of the pub, and he reckoned the ghost was in the toilet when he went in there and watched him have a poo. So, I mean, I've seen some weird shit in pubs during my active days, but I don't remember a ghost watching me having a little poo in the cubicle.
No, but what? I mean, why would a ghost waste their time on that sort of behaviour?
I don't know.
Mind you, I suppose if you're a ghost, you've got plenty of time, haven't you?
You've got all eternity, haven't you? Just
time to burn.
Around.
And if you sort of find yourself as a ghost, you think, do you know what? I've never seen anyone having a poo.
Yeah.
You might...
And you can just walk through the cubicle door, can't you, and just stand there. There's not much room there, is there? It must have been a bit intimidating for everyone concerned.
Yeah, but you can float, can't you?
You can float above it, I suppose, and look down.
I don't know which angle would be the best one from which to view a poo.
View a poo? I don't know, no. But
certainly not from beneath.
No. Oh, well, I wouldn't want to view it at all, really, to be honest.
No,
but
no. There was a programme on telly the other day about pooing, wasn't there?
Was there?
Yeah.
Whilst we're on the subject, yeah.
Yeah, I watched about 3 or 4 minutes of it. I thought, no, this is unsavoury. I don't want this. Anyway, we got an email this week.
Did we?
And I thought I'd better mention it because it refers to, I can't remember how we kind of described it now, but it makes reference to this exclusive club that we now have of people who've gone back through our entire back catalogue, which, of course, is becoming a bigger and bigger task.
Yeah, quite.
So thanks to listener Julian for his email. He's been listening to us while he's been renovating his bathroom.
Oh, right, okay.
which is ideal. Although he says something a bit disturbing at the back. He says, I'm also saving some serious money on therapy as there's so many things that really get me thinking and questioning. So I'm kind of now reflecting on the fact that this podcast might be stopping people going to therapy.
You're doing yourself out of a bit of work, mate, aren't you? You can see your income draining away in front of your eyes, can't you? By these freebies we give away.
I'm becoming the epitome of that thing we used to say in business when, you'd say about a manager that the sign of a good leader is that you kind of manage yourself out of the business. When you create such a high performing team that you're not needed anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Is that's you're putting yourself into that category, are you?
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking that we might end up there, mightn't we? We might end up where we aren't needed anymore because we've created such an effective body of work. Although I suspect we're some distance off that.
A long way, mate. Well,
anyway.
I hope Julian cracks on with it. Would you say it was his bathroom he was renovating?
I think he's renovating his bathroom. He said, yeah. So
yeah, and we I think we first coined the phrase "doing a Ronnie," didn't we?
That's it.
Ronnie, I think
Julian is doing a Ronnie.
She's doing a Ronnie. He's doing a Ronnie, yeah, because she was the first person that we came across that had gone back and listened to every episode. Yeah, so Julian's doing a Ronnie. Good work.
I think we're ideal listening. It's ideal listening to us whilst you renovate a bathroom and when you go to sleep.
Well, yeah, probably because he's making loads of noise with his SDS drill and that. You can't hear us.
Yeah, don't start using technical terms that I don't understand.
Okay, no, or using loud equipment, tools.
Yeah, that'll do, yeah.
Hammers. You understand that?
Yeah, I do understand that, yeah.
Anyway,
right, come on.
Willpower.
Yeah.
It often comes up in groups. I suppose it comes up often when people say they've been white knuckling it through cravings and stuff, So it's that's the definition that people in groups would potentially relate to. But there's a number of different common names for willpower. And the ones I come across from doing the research, there was determination, drive, resolve, self-discipline, self-control. So there was loads that fed into that. But apparently, again, I looked into it a bit further. There's psychologists characterize willpower in more specific ways. So you probably relate to these a little bit more. The first one was the ability to delay gratification or resisting short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals, which I thought was, which sounds about right, or the capacity to override an unwanted thought, feeling, or impulse. Now, that's really big in the recovery world.
Yeah,
it is something. So that's all to do with willpower. And the last point that psychologists use, or when they're defining it, is the ability to employ a sort of a cool cognitive behavioural system rather than a hot emotional system.
Yeah. So think about it logically.
Yeah, exactly, and don't get all hot under the collar.
I don't know whether you're going to come onto this or not, but there's a growing body of evidence in recent years. It kind of blows the whole episode out of the water. There's a growing body of evidence in recent years in support of the idea that actually willpower is a bit overrated.
Overrated?
Yeah, the idea of self-control actually is a bit flimsy, and there are other things that contribute to our ability to resist temptation or find the grit and determination to get where we want to get to. So maybe it doesn't look like you are going to talk about that.
Oh, I might do. You don't know, but
I'll kind of throw a few bits and pieces in around that as we go through.
Okay. Well, no, you've sort of, I'm going to have to employ a cool cognitive system of behaviour now, because you've got me hot under the collar. You started to annoy me, so I've got to show a bit of will, or exercise.
Yeah, you need to show a little bit of grit and determination.
I do,
now, don't you?
I do. But in the surveys I was looking at, which might be different from the ones you've been looking at or the papers you've been reading, the surveys show that around 30% of people say it's the greatest obstacle to change. I mean, I thought about it. I thought, yeah, probably right. I mean, it's often we come across people that will use the phrase, won't they? I haven't got the willpower to see it through. They almost throw the towel in before the task starts.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of part of it, really, because if you see yourself as someone who doesn't have the willpower, or you see yourself as, for instance, someone who's lazy, which is often what someone says.
Yeah.
Then actually that kind of feeds into the point that I was making, because, my response to people when they say that is, well, think about something you want to do. So if you enjoy, I don't know, playing tennis, or I was going to say going to the pub, but that's not really appropriate on this podcast.
Not at all.
If you think about something you enjoy doing, don't find it difficult to find the willpower to do that. So, when people say I haven't got any willpower, or I'm lazy, or I don't have any kind of determination, it kind of feeds into the idea that rather than it being a question of willpower, it's more about perhaps sometimes how much we might enjoy challenges that other people find difficult.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So, for instance, eating healthily would be a good example.
Yes.
I like eating healthily because I like cooking, so I'm interested in food. So the idea of willpower for me in terms of eating more healthily is kind of less of an issue. It's not really a question of willpower. I just like doing it. Whereas someone else might think, yeah, I'd really like to eat healthily. And so they might have the motivation to do so, but their willpower struggles because they're not that interested in food, or they don't know much about it, or they don't have time. So do you see there are other things that might negatively impact our willpower, rather than our lack of willpower being a reflection of how useless we are?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, willpower, it affects so many areas of our lives, doesn't it? I mean, you talked about diet there, eating healthily, but we rely on willpower for other things, don't we? Like exercise, for example, or saving money, or quitting smoking, or something like that, or overcoming procrastination. I think we touched on it during our episode on that. Sobriety. Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that because I think, although it does there. It's not. It can underestimate the strength needed sometimes, with sobriety, because that can be. It's more than just willpower, but it's more than willpower, but it's also part of that same point, which is modern thinking around willpower also suggests that things like genetics play a part. Yes.
So if, for instance, you're more likely or more disposed towards addictive behaviors, then willpower is likely to be more of an issue for you. But again, that's not your fault. It's not a weakness in you. It's just kind of the way you were made. So if I don't have a kind of particular problem with getting hooked into stuff, that will tend to make life easier for me than it might for someone who does get hooked into stuff. But it doesn't make me better than them, it just makes me different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But should we have a quick look at what our old friend Mahatma Gandhi has to say about it?
Thought you'd have something to say about it.
Just a quick quote. He says that strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. I'm happy with that. If he says it, that's good enough for me. But although you've sort of trashed it, what I was going to say about willpower. Well, no, you haven't really.
I haven't.
You haven't.
I'm just suggesting that actually my fundamental suggestion here is that we have to think about willpower. When we think about a lack of willpower, we tend to feel kind of shameful about it.
Okay, yeah.
It's a failing. And what I'm saying is it's actually counterproductive to think of it like that. It's much better to think of willpower as something that some people find easier than others. And that's not your fault. That's not to say that we don't need it. Of course we do. But there are other factors that go to create our ability to find it other than just, being shit and useless.
Okay, no, that fits quite neatly alongside what I was going to say anyway. So that's clarified that. I was just looking at how to strengthen willpower. I think we all need a little bit of push in that direction sometimes.
Yeah.
And the first point that came up was avoiding temptation, which is again quite a big one in the recovery community. But I was reading about, they called it a marshmallow study.
Oh yeah.
You come across that? Where they use preschool children and they had to choose between eating one marshmallow immediately or waiting for an unspecified amount of time for 2 marshmallows.
Correct. Yeah.
And the children that stared directly at the treat were less likely to resist it. When there were kids who closed their eyes or were distracted, turned away, or did something else, much more likely to have an increase in willpower to get the 2 marshmallows further on down the line. Yeah,
the point being that if you don't heighten your temptation, it's easier to avoid it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So this is another good example, because the marshmallow test actually also illustrates another factor in our ability to find willpower, which is nothing to do with us being good enough or even in terms of our kind of inner strength. And that is, I don't know if you read this around the marshmallow test, but I'm pretty sure that one of the other findings from running that test is consistently that children who come from wealthier backgrounds find it easier to resist the temptation.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't read into it that far. I just took some of the strap lines, really, the headlines. I thought, that's quite an interesting concept.
Yeah, because the idea that if you're more wealthy, you find willpower easier, I suppose, kind of feeds into the idea that you have less of a tendency to feel as if you are going without. Right. It's not so imperative, right? So I don't know, but it might be I can resist eating this marshmallow right now because actually there are quite a lot of marshmallows in my life, rather than some child for whom a marshmallow is a super treat because they don't really get that much stuff. There isn't much money around. There aren't many treats around for them, and therefore they would find it more difficult to exercise willpower. That's not the fault of the child. That's not failing in the child. That's just the child's circumstance, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a social comment you come up with there, and I think it's quite an important one, or quite an interesting one.
Did you have a lot of marshmallows as a child? No,
very rare. I'm not really a big fan of them, to be honest. But
they're toasted?
No, not really.
What?
No, they're all right, I suppose. But no, I didn't. I've never really been overexposed to marshmallows. But if that was chocolate in that, replacing marshmallows with a chocolate, then yes, I'd have quite a lot of difficulty resisting that first one, especially as a child, when there wasn't that much chocolate about. You're
exactly.
Right.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Whereas a child who's used to having chocolate probably think that's not so bad, is it? I mean, that sort of thing will have an impact. Willpower is easier for people who have less of an imperative.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And it leads on quite nicely into the next one, really, which is quite closely aligned to avoiding temptation, which is the out of sight, out of mind scenario. And that's big, again, in the recovery community. Don't keep drink in the house. Keep it away. I mean, we always talk about availability weaponizing temptation. And it's so true when you're in recovery. I've known lots of people that have they still have a drinks cabinet initially.
Yeah, why would if you're in recovery and
Yeah.
you still keep drinking in the house? What
Yeah.
what is the kind of typical justification that people come
I
up
can
with?
I can give you that in case someone comes around.
That's
Drinks,
just bullshit, isn't it?
I know, of course it is. I know you can see right through it, but it's something, and it manifests normally in the early stages of recovery. You're still struggling with it. You're still denying perhaps you've got an issue, and you don't like this the move away from the normality that surrounded you for so long.
So do you think sometimes when people say, "Oh, I still got a drinks cabinet," or "I still keep drinking in the house in case someone comes round," I mean, presumably sometimes people are saying that, and that is genuinely what they're feeling. You know, I want to be able to offer a friend a drink if they come around, right? Which kind of goes back to this idea of, why would you want to offer a friend a drink? You're in recovery.
Well,
if your friend's a true friend, they wouldn't come around and drink alcohol in front of you.
Absolutely right, and that is the point we go on to. And when it does come up from time to time, and we often explain that. And also, your house should be pretty much a safe zone for you in recovery.
Yeah, if your house isn't safe, where is it?
Yeah, well, exactly, because outside of your house, outside of your own four walls, alcohol's everywhere.
Mm.
So yeah, it's it comes up from quite a lot, I've got to say.
Is there ever any other justification for keeping alcohol in the house?
Yes, I think we've had it where people say, again, it's a very weak one, but a bit like people that give up smoking, they keep a packet of fags just up in the top cupboard, just in case.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Well, you're guaranteed to lapse.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah. It's crazy, but that's the crazy thinking of us addicts when we're struggling with it all.
But it's also the same. It's part of the same syndrome as not telling people you're giving up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
because you're actually setting yourself up for failure. Because by not telling people, the message you're giving yourself is, I probably won't be able to do this, and I don't want to feel ashamed when I have to tell other people that I've failed.
That is a bit, and it's just keeping the door open. You're right back to the old behaviours. Dangerous. So
what I always tell, I don't really work with people to give up smoking now, but when I used to have that conversation with people about cigarettes, I used to say, well, you need to work on your motivation because it's not in the right place yet. Because if you're still thinking you're going to keep drinking in the house, or I'll keep a bottle just in case, your motivation's not where it needs to be.
That's a good point.
And so willpower will never drag you out of that problem.
No, it won't. It won't. No, you're right. But again, just moving on to the next point then on how to strengthen your willpower. There's something I come across called, you may well know this, called implementation intention.
No, don't know.
No, it's the intentions take the form of an if-then statement. It's a bit like having a pre-planned strategy, which we often talk about in groups. If anyone offers me a drink, then I'll ask for a Diet Coke, for example. So you've already got it in your mind. So your intention is already, you're implementing your intention before it happens. So it strengthens your willpower when it does.
Good idea.
I quite liked it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
And we always talk about having exit strategies if things get a bit hot. But it's nice to have an intention strategy if to deal with those things.
Yeah, so, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite liked it. Having a high motivation strengthens willpower. Obviously, we talked about that last week. Having a high motivation, for example, if you've got high motivation for helping other people.
Yeah.
And we touched on that last week about, you and I, our willpower to continue to do this is strengthened by the motivation of not letting each other down or continuing on. Or if someone gets paid a lot of money for a particular task, for example, that can increase your willpower.
Yeah. Again, there's got to be some desire to do it, hasn't there? I mean, I think sometimes we mistakenly think, oh, well, if I'm paid enough, I'll be able to do it, but I'm not sure that always works. I think there's got to be sometimes it might increase your desire to do it, but I don't think on its own it would be enough. I mean, some people might say it is, but perhaps those kids who don't have many marshmallows would
they'd be pleased to do a very difficult task for a bag full of marshmallows. But it is. Some people, there are some tasks that you couldn't get paid enough to do. We often use that phrase, and we'll hear that phrase. So there is a limit
eating
on
that. Eating goat's cheese
for you. You couldn't get paid enough for that, could you?
No, it'd be ridiculous. No.
So that was an interesting point. Anyway, and the next point was something again we talked about last week was chunking down. Don't take on too much at once. That severely decreases your willpower. But by chunking down, it increases it.
Yeah, you've only got so much capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you spread yourself too thin, then it isn't surprising if you don't have enough energy to kind of get through.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And do you agree? I think you've used this phrase before, but it's like flexing your willpower muscle. So, if you're using willpower for self-control, for example, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. You're continuing to exercise that particular muscle, aren't you?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think it's, the more you do something, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
So if you go back to something like exercising or eating healthily, the longer you maintain a habit, the stronger you feel in it. So that doesn't mean there's never any risk of slipping back into bad habit, but you build up such a kind of body of evidence that reminds you of why it's good to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of covered the next point in there, which was engaging in healthy habits increases your willpower. And exactly right. And that looked at good diet and exercise, and you just completely covered that one.
Thank you.
As if you were reading my notes over my shoulder.
Yeah, that would be difficult because I'm sitting in front of you.
Yeah, and several miles apart.
Yeah, exactly.
The last couple of points was a reward system, so rewarding yourself.
Yeah. Yes. With a marshmallow.
With a marshmallow, if you want to, yeah.
Or a chocolate-covered marshmallow.
Oh, I know you're talking. Do they do them?
Well,
I suppose you could dip them.
Milky Way's kind of a...
You could use it in like those chocolate, like a fondue, couldn't you? Dip your marshmallow into chocolate.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't think I've ever had a fondue, which is surprising, isn't it?
They were all the rage at one time. I think during the 80s, wasn't it, where you'd have a fondue party?
I think they're a little bit... I think they're quite popular now.
Are they?
Yeah.
I know.
You remember Trevor Notton at the Minstrel?
I do, yeah.
Trevor and I used to talk back in the day. We used to talk about the merit of opening a fondue restaurant.
Well, I know. I remember you talking about opening a vegetarian or a restaurant many years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Before it was the thing.
Before it was de rigueur.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a millionaire by now.
Oh, well, you should have acted on your impulse. I've never seen a fondue restaurant, but yeah.
Well, I didn't really have the motivation.
No, or the willpower.
No, exactly. The motivation had to come first, didn't it? I couldn't visualize.
Yeah.
My visualization of that coming about was not powerful enough to make me drop everything else and do it. Plus the fact it'd be a lot of hard work, and I don't really like that. Well,
that feeds into the one of my last 2 points was getting help from others. You see, if Trevor had said to you, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and look at a premises," would come along and you'd have had motivation then, wouldn't you? And that spurred you on to perhaps look at taking it to the next stage.
Yeah, I think it probably would. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, but he's dead now, so
he is, unfortunately. Yeah, I saw that.
That's not going to happen, is it?
No. He's a nice chap.
Yeah, so I'd have to find someone else to get into the fondue game with.
Well, when you go into the town centre, there's nothing but restaurants and eateries these days. Yeah. So quite a crowded marketplace. But
it's also a difficult marketplace in which to succeed.
Well, don't they reckon that 70% of restaurants fail in their first year?
I don't know. It's certainly a difficult game.
Yeah,
sure.
I know it's a very high percentage. So that's about it.
Too risky. High overheads, high barriers to entry.
Yeah. Extreme competition.
Unlike being a therapist, which basically just means as long as you can talk, you can do it.
You're okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay.
You squeaked through easily, didn't you, on that one? But
I had all the necessary skills.
Everything was put in play. It was, it was life learnt, wasn't it? A lot of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that getting support from others, that was looking at things like getting therapy. If you are struggling with willpower, it sounds like you do have people come to you and would use that phrase. I haven't got the willpower to do it.
Yeah, I think people often say that. I mean, it's a kind of catch-all, really, when people are stuck in a loop and they can see what's wrong in their lives, and they can probably even see what might change it or might make it feel a little bit better. But for some reason, they're not moving towards that objective or that goal. Yeah. And quite often people will bemoan their own lack of willpower and motivation. But as I said earlier, it's more complicated than that. There are lots of different factors, plus the fact that when you're talking about something related to emotional health, as we've said before, nobody changes till they're ready to.
Exactly right. And that, again, under the banner of getting support from others, it's peer support groups.
There we are.
So that they work marvellously, especially our one.
That is certainly true, isn't it? Because you're not only are you getting support from other people, but you're getting support from other people who are like-minded.
Yeah.
And understand
totally.
you. And that's pretty important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Which sort of rounds my notes up at this stage.
Good.
Is there anything you wanted to add, especially from what you were talking about willpower being overrated? It's quite an interesting concept, that one.
Yeah, I think the point is that the willpower in the traditional way that we think of it, I think is kind of overrated.
Okay. Yeah.
I think generally there's quite a lot of evidence now to suggest that it isn't necessarily just the effort that we expend that drives achievement. It's the extent to which we are tempted to divert course in the first place. And there are lots of factors that are, that impact that. So my kind of key message is, if you are someone who feels, I haven't got enough willpower to do that, and you get down on yourself, you're actually making life worse for yourself.
Yeah.
There might be lots of reasons. So the best thing to do if you feel like you don't have the willpower to do something is go and talk to someone about it. Go to peer support if you're in recovery or you're considering going in recovery, or go and do some therapy if you're not.
If you're not everyone else.
if you're everyone else, yeah. I don't think there is a peer support for other. Well, I suppose there mustn't there, peer support for other sort of things? Well, there is.
There is, yeah.
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 Don't go to therapy, just go to peer support somewhere.
That's all you need.
And if there isn't a peer support group for your particular thing, start one.
As long as you've got the motivation and willpower to do it.
Exactly. Cut therapy out, just like Julian.
He's undermined your whole business model. Anyway, we'll move on to then, if you don't mind, our gratitude lists for this week.
Yeah. I think is it me first or you first?
I don't really know. But you go first. You.
All right, I'll go first. Actually, it's probably good that I go first because mine is absolutely related to today's subject matter.
Excellent.
So I feel grateful that I'm not someone who seems to get caught up with a lot of troublesome temptation.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking about. When I was thinking about willpower, I was thinking, yeah, obviously there are places where I have to use willpower and have used willpower in the past, but I think probably on the whole, I have it pretty easy because there aren't that many things that really kind of hook me in and drag me along and make me want to do this, make me want to do that. I'm reasonably good at, picking things up and letting them go again. And I think that's just, as I say, that's just luck. So I'm grateful for it.
It might be luck.
It's not me being clever. It's just
no, it's not. But but I can understand that because you've moved into a period of your life where you don't subject yourself to temptation as much.
No,
when we used to go out as kids, or you'd go to the pub, or when you were quite young, someone would offer you some mushrooms or some drugs or something. You'd take them, and that's what that temptation isn't there anymore, is it? Anything like that is gone, isn't it?
No, yeah, that's right. But I think that's what I'm talking about because when I think back, I mean, obviously I can't remember what I was like as a 20-year-old or whatever, but I don't ever remember doing anything and thinking, I've got to have more of that. I've got to keep doing that. I don't think I ever had that feeling. There are things that I've been kind of hooked into that I've enjoyed doing, but I can't remember anything that I'd say, yeah, I became fixated on that and it became my focus. And knowing how troublesome that is for people who do have that difficulty, I feel grateful that, it
is horrible because you wouldn't be a very good addict, that's for sure. You haven't got the basic
no, that's
rudiments.
Right. It would be troublesome for me to be a therapist as an addict as well, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I could be a therapist as a recovering addict.
Yeah. But, absolutely
I don't
right.
think I want to develop any addictions now because that would be confusing, wouldn't it?
It worked for everyone. Yeah, it was. Well, mine's slightly different. Well, quite a lot different from yours, actually. On my gratitude list, I've put long-handled teaspoons, which
oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Well, it was because normally if you buy a cantina cutlery, not that I bought one for many years, but they're never. You don't have long-handled teaspoons, and it's very rare. But in fact, I bought them. It was a middle-aisle purchase in houses, I think. And I thought I'd buy some of them, and they're just fantastic. I use them all the time. They're great for getting stuff out the bottoms of coffee jars.
Okay, so that's why. Because
Yeah.
I could have quite legitimately and easily put long-handled teaspoons on my gratitude list.
Okay.
And the reason I like them is because they're really useful for stirring my refreshed sourdough starter.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Because you need. It's not only about getting to the bottom of the jar.
Yeah.
But when you're stirring it vigorously, which you need to do,
Yeah.
it's actually quite hard with a short spoon. You need more effort.
Yeah.
Whereas you get more leverage with a longer spoon.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of a long-handled teaspoon.
Good. So that could have easily been on your gratitude list, and if you'd have thought about it, yeah.
It could have been. I'm disappointed that you didn't text me and let me know there were long-handled teaspoons in the middle aisle at Aldi. Recent.
No, it was quite some time ago.
Oh,
it was a bit of an impulse purchase, but I keep thinking I could do some more. I use them all the time. They're great. You can use them for virtually everything that you'd use a normal teaspoon for, but it's just extra capacity to them.
Do you have certain teaspoons for different tasks?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got a collection of. I think you collect teaspoons of different shapes and sizes.
Yeah, but what I mean is, if you're making, I don't know, putting some, making a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you search through your spoons for the spoon?
Sometimes I do, but I'm just finding more and more often it's the long handled ones that covers all bases.
Right. But if there is a desire for a particular spoon, you will search for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you?
Oh yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. But so
I've always thought you were autistic.
Oh, is that a part of autism? Does that put me on?
Well, it's a routine habit thing, isn't it?
Is it right? So I'm on. Yeah, definitely.
You like a routine and a habit, don't you?
I do very much. Yes. So perhaps I'm on the spectrum. I ought to get tested out. I was reading something about people that get diagnosed later on in life with ADHD, for example, and various different things, and how that you can look back and thinking, did that impact me when I was a child? Did that impact? Yeah. Which I'm sure you've done that, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. Yeah.
Retrospect.
The reason I laugh about it with you is because it makes sense, doesn't it, that people who are neurodivergent are more likely to attract other people towards them who are similarly neurodivergent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They don't appear so odd.
No, quite. No, that makes. Yeah, I do. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Right, I'm going to move on to daysoftheyear.com.
All right.
Which today is the Chinese New Year, isn't it, today?
What is it? The year of the what?
I don't know what the year of
what
it is.
Come on, you must have sorted that out.
No, I didn't. I just know that today is the start of the Chinese New Year.
Okay, I'll find
You can have a look?
Yeah. Right.
It's normally allocated to a particular animal, isn't it?
Oh, it's the rabbit.
The rabbit. Oh, okay. That's sweet, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice. I like rabbits.
I like a diced rabbit. Nice.
I couldn't eat rabbit.
You've never, obviously you have eaten it in the past.
I probably did when I was a kid because I expect my mum cooked it on occasion, but I would never eat it now.
Would you not?
In the same way as I can't eat duck.
Oh, okay.
Because my son, when he was born, he had a duck called Mr. Duck.
Okay.
A soft toy.
Okay, yeah.
And he was so devoted to that soft toy, I could never again eat duck, and I still can't. Okay. I mean, he's 24 now, nearly. I still can't eat duck.
You haven't broken through that barrier.
I expect he'd be all right to eat it, but I wouldn't.
Not even a crispy one from the Chinese, or
no.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on then. In that case, the next day, there's a couple of others. National Polka Dot Day, which it came about. Do you remember Minnie Mouse? She used to have a red polka dot dress.
Yeah.
It sort of started around about 1928.
Have you ever had a polka dot dress?
I was just trying to think. I don't think I've ever sported one out in public, no.
You must have had a polka dot tie.
I think that was fashionable at one stage, wasn't it? Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm pretty sure I've had one, yeah. But otherwise, I'm probably not going to be taking part in polka dot day.
No, I'm not either. Or the last one that you won't be getting involved in either, I'd imagine, is the National Answer Your Cat's Questions Day, which is
National Answer Your Cat's Questions.
Yeah, day.
Does it say anything about how cats submit their questions?
I tried to read through it, and it's just an appreciation of your cat, basically.
Right.
Dressed up.
What if your cat doesn't have any questions?
Well, exactly. A lot of them just look at you. There doesn't seem to be a great deal going through their mind.
I mean, we've both had cats, haven't we?
Yeah.
I've never heard a cat ask a question.
Nor have I. No. They look
So
at
I don't know who's getting that. I don't know who's got these questioning cats.
I don't know either. It's just obviously it's been put together by a collection of cat lovers and allocated a day to it.
I'd like to ask a question of my next door's cats.
Would you?
Why do you keep shitting in my raised beds?
And what do you think the answer would be? Because I can.
Meow, meow.
Because I can. That's what he'd say.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to in my own garden, so I come across to yours.
Twats.
Okay. On this day in music, not a great deal around, really. On this day, 2004, Ryan Adams fell off stage and broke his wrist. Now, remember, Ryan Adams, it sounded very much like Bryan Adams.
Yeah, I like Ryan Adams. I think I prefer... it's tricky now, isn't it? I mean, I haven't liked his recent stuff, but I certainly liked some of his older stuff. But he's been tarred with the... hang on, he was accused of some sort of abusive relationship, I'm pretty sure. I've got to be careful here what I say, haven't I?
Very careful. Yeah, we'll consult our lawyers first before this one goes out.
I know he had some trouble.
Allegedly. That's all you have to say, isn't it?
Yeah, allegedly. I know he had some trouble. I can't remember how it was resolved, but I know he kind of became persona non grata for a bit. But I really like his work. I don't suppose you're very familiar with Ryan Adams, are you?
No, I know. So I've heard some of his stuff, but it used to make me laugh when people would go to his gigs and start shouting, "Can you do everything I do it for you?" and that sort of thing. Which apparently he got really pissed off and come off stage at one.
I was going to say he would do because apparently he's a right moody bastard.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, I don't like him. I don't like him already.
Apparently he is. Yeah. So there we are.
The next one on in 1994. Now you've got to wonder why this come under music, but Telly Savalas died.
Well, he sang, what was this song he did?
If. He said he did If, didn't he? Yeah.
If a picture paints 1,000 words, why can't I paint you?
Exactly. No, that was the...
But didn't he speak it?
It was the spoken word, yeah, which is why I say it's very loosely connected to music, isn't it, really? Because you wouldn't think of Telly Savalas and say, oh, yeah, he's a musician. He wasn't. He's a bit like William Shatner. Remember, he did some spoken word tracks as well, didn't he?
He did,
absolutely dreadful.
Yeah. Did Telly Savalas ever release an album?
I've got a feeling he did.
Did he call it "Who Loves You, Baby"?
He's got to have that lollipop in the mouth picture on the front, really, with his bald head and that. He was iconic at one point, wasn't he? During the late 70s, early 80s.
Did you ever watch Kojak?
Yes, I did a couple of occasions. It wasn't really my thing, but
I don't think I ever watched Kojak.
No, I didn't really watch telly as a child very much. There's nothing on to watch, was there? There's 2 channels, 3 channels at best, and that was it. There's never anything on apart from the football. I never used to want to watch anything. I probably
saw Telly Savalas more on Top of the Pops doing If than I ever did in any other of his work.
That's enough, Telly Savalas. Anyway, I think we've done him to death. How about
some Charles Aznavour? Didn't he do If originally?
He may well have done. Yeah, yes.
He did.
Yeah, I think it's one of those tracks that a lot of people have had a crack at, but he did it the worst, didn't he? Really, Telly Savalas.
Yeah, he did.
But it got to number 1.
Did it?
Yeah.
How come?
Because people decided that was something they wanted to listen to.
Oh, that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Oh, that's clever, isn't it?
That's the music industry as a whole. I know. All these years you've been flirting with the music industry, you just haven't worked that one out.
I didn't know that's what you had to do.
Well, the last one was just it's just a bit of a memory, really. In 1987, number 1 at that time on this day was Stephen Silk Hurley with "Jack Your Body."
I remember that. Jack your body, Jack your body.
It was one of apparently it was the first number 1 from the house music genre.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, I don't really understand what house music is or how you define it, but apparently that was one of the first ones. Or the first one.
Yeah.
I quite liked the track. I remember thinking it was quite innovative at the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I hated it.
Yeah. Oh, no, you would have done. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
There weren't any guitars, were there?
No, there weren't. No, I prefer guitar band-based music, that's for sure. But
you like Bryan Adams?
No, I don't. Or Ryan Adams.
You got your first real 6-string down at the 5 and dime, didn't you?
That's all
you played it
stuff.
till your fingers bled. It was the summer of '69.
You're obviously a big Bryan Adams fan. You know the lyric off by heart. But that's me, mate. That's me. I've finished my notes.
Good. Well, that's enough, isn't it? We've been going
I think
on
more than enough.
Yeah. Good. Let's hope it recorded this week and we won't have another.
God, yeah, I have to go through that lot again. I'd need some willpower then, that's for sure.
All right.
All right, mate.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.
Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work or sort through the extensive archive of past episodes, just visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk/sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram at Sideways Podcast, and you can email us if you have a question or if there's something you'd like us to cover. But most of all, we want to tell you how grateful we are that you come and listen, and we ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And we'll see you next week.